So this is Baruch here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel. We're going to look into the Sefer Tehillim again, the book of songs of our King David. And here we see how he is vibrating from the center of the reality. It produces a tremendous amount of balance, produces a tremendous amount of direction towards the Almighty. We're privileged to have an overview of this book written by Rabbi Abraham Chaim Foyer, who was the scion of the Telz Yeshiva. And he's really developed something very sweet over here, very deep as well, covering a lot of ground. Who is our king, King David? What is the heart and soul of the Jewish people? Now, this is section 5, and we're going to go through little parts of this. Section 5 is called the Sweet Singer of Israel. And we had this concept here, Zmiros. Zmiros we usually means to be songs. But this is going to say that it actually has another meaning, the quest for purity. This is our king, who is just like us, a human being, who has all the flaws that we have and seeks to overcome them. Yaf Yozu, this beauty that we're calling of the Malchus of the kingdom, the sovereignty. Then he says, Vizmiros Hallelu, and these songs, the Sunas Lohu B'Matana, they were given to King David as a gift. Ayin Shona, that he had this gift of 70 years that he would live, Sheyikyeh, V'Yehei Mizbar Levanecho, and Bizamer, and he will be singing and playing music in your presence. Now this is the translation of Rabbi Foyer. This beautiful one, he says, Yafius. I present him with sovereignty and songs of praise. I give him this for the 70 years of his life, so that he shall sing before you. It goes on. Yehu Ratzon Imri Fi. May the expressions of my mouth find favor. When David completed the book of Psalms, he requested of God, let these psalms be studied and contemplated like Negoim v'Ocholos, which is 2 sections, he says, the complex and weighty tractates of ritual cleanliness, which have to do with Negoim, which means different kinds of spots that appear on a person. They're called leprosy. It's not the leprosy we know today. It's something different. But nonetheless, it's very complicated. And also those things that have to do with ritual cleanliness. So he says, a Rav Gifter points out, who was the Rosh Yeshiva in Telz, that it was not because of their depth and difficulty that David specified the tractates of ritual cleanliness. There may be other tractates even more difficult to comprehend. He mentioned only them because they present the entire order of the Mishnah, in which they appear the order of Taros, which is purities. So there's a whole section in the Mishnah which is called Taharos, how to purify yourself, to be able to make yourself, in my mind, fit to receive the light of God. David begged that psalms should not remain a form of sacred poetry. He wanted it endowed with the same purifying effect on the human soul as the laws of ritual purity. Now, this is a little bit deeper idea, so what does this mean? He says the musical accompaniment to psalms. Now, again, the actual music, we are supplying music from our own cultures to the psalms. But the original psalms from 3,000 years ago and the instruments that were used to represent it are lost to us. So God's willing that they will all come back to oneness again. Now let's go back into this concept of music. The musical accompaniment to psalms represents the intellect, which is a symbol of purity. So what is it? What's the reason? Because it is divorced from the material world. No other art form is as ethereal and intangible as music. Music which creates no object or substance and body. It has no physicality that we could recognize at all with our eyes. Only sound waves traveling on thin air. which swiftly fade away. The very word zimra, song, actually has another meaning. It alludes to the unique properties of song and its purifying effect on the soul. Many say that this word is related to the word zmira, which means pruning. The tree cannot flourish or even survive if its vitality is sapped by dead bark and diseased branches. This is us in the real world. Cutting away the undesirable portions assures the continued growth of a thriving tree. The same concept applies to spiritual development. Coarse character, which we have an animal self, and low morals rot the soul. Lust and greed squander the precious energies of the spirit. These undesirable traits may be pruned with the aid of zmiros. Zmiros is the cutting tool, also known as saws. Song expresses the inner harmony of the singer and of creation. David sings, the frog sings, the sun sings. When they join together in the exaltation of acknowledging God's handiwork, they look up and join themselves, like in the picture that we had at the beginning, that all are looking upwards. This way of evil is pruned away to wither and disintegrate. Now the Abarbanel, he writes on Shmuel Aleph, explains that David possessed the unique ability to play divine music which filled the emptiness of the soul, driving away its sin-bred melancholy. Let's go back over these words again. That David possessed the unique ability to play divine music, some kind of music on a harmony with the vibrations that ultimately led to our world, which filled the emptiness of the soul, because the soul could feel that it has no attachment to its origin and it's not functioning well in this world to be able to create that attachment. So the music driving away its sin-bred melancholy. So we understand that depression, we see that people are deeply depressed, and they look at it clinically. The Torah means to think, or seems to think, that when we get involved in the wrong kinds of behaviors, particularly, specifically, sexual immorality, this leads to melancholy. No other man could claim this talent, because David's skill was not a human achievement. He didn't become a virtuoso because of long hours of practice and mastery of musical techniques. He was a what he had was a God-given gift, bestowed upon him from above at the moment that Samuel anointed him to be king. Because David was Mashiach Elokei Yaakov. He was the anointed one. Mashiach means the one who is anointed of the God of Jacob. Therefore he became Noam Zmiros Yisrael, the sweet singer of the Jewish people. Extol virtue, sing of kindness, praise God and serve him. Denounce evil, condemn the wicked, pray for protection from the evil inclination that is within us. Set your values straight with the aid of Zmiros. Zmiros cuts away the fat, cuts away the dying part, the pruning, quality of songs, and you are on the unhindered path to purity. This is Baruch Fleischman. These are the prose of Rabbi Avraham Chaim Foyer. So as we're learning in the foreword and the introduction to these songs of our King, we learn a little bit about music and its tremendous power to purify. Now we're coming to Psalm number 52, Mizmor Nun Bet. It says like this: Once again, David addresses himself to the most critical moral problem of his generation. We're going to hold this right here. Go to a different one. Now, on second thought, I'll put them together. They're already together, and we'll keep going on. We're going to do Psalm 52, as I said. Once again, David addresses himself to the most critical moral problem of his generation. The jealous enmity between men, which undermines their principles to the point that they are willing to spread slander and fabricate evil tales in order to destroy their rivals. David cites a painful incident from his personal life which illustrates this theme. David is forced to flee like a beggar from the blind, jealous wrath of his father-in-law Saul. Though starving and unarmed, David comes to Nob, the city of priests, which the tabernacle was situated, and asked Ahimelech the priest to give him bread and a sword. Assuming that David is on a mission in the royal service of the king Saul, the unsuspecting Ahimelech supplies the fugitive with his needs. But at that time, Doeg the Edomite, the head of the Sanhedrin and Saul's closest advisor, was in spiritual retreat at the tabernacle of God. He reported the transaction to Saul in such a manner as to implicate Ahimelech as a conspirator against the insecure king. This treacherous slander incited the despairing king to condemn the entire city of Nob to death as rebels against the monarchy, a horrible sentence which was eagerly carried out by Doeg himself. These tragic events moved David to compose this maskil, an instructive psalm. Maskil refers to mind, to inform the people of the treachery of Doeg and slanderers like him. So the psalm in English, I'm assuming that it's translated by this Rabbi Avraham Chaim Foyer. For the conductor, a maskil by David. Upon the arrival of Doeg the Edomite, who informed Saul, saying to him, David came to the house of Ahimelech. Why do you pride yourself with evil, O mighty warrior? The kindness of God is all day long. Treachery does your tongue devise. Like a sharpened razor working deceit, you love evil more than good, falsehood more than speaking of righteousness. Salah. You love all devouring words, a tongue of deceit. Likewise, God will smash you for eternity. He will shatter you and tear you from the tent and uproot you from the land of life. Salah. The righteous will see it and be frightened, but they will jeer at him. Behold, this is the man who did not make God his stronghold, but trusted in his abundance of wealth, drew strength from his treachery. But I am like an evergreen olive in the house of God. I trust in the kindness of God forever and ever. I will thank you forever when you do it, and put hope in your name. For you are good to your devout ones. This is Baruch Fleischman. We've been listening to the Tikkun Elevator Kolo, the prose of Rabbi Avraham Chaim Foyer, and the song of our king, number 52, David.